It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, Brian, here's one from DC Strauss. DC said, I've got a rollover IRA and a Roth IRA from a previous employer that I realized is sitting in a settlement fund, right? So it sounds like that's not invested, some sort of stable value. Given time in the market versus timing the market, is it better to invest a lump sum now or dollar cost average? I'm 30s, I'm married, I got 3 kids. I just think it'd be interesting to weigh in. Lump sum versus dollar cost average, and like when, what's kind of our general philosophy on when it makes sense to do that versus not do that? How do you approach that?
This is, and I don't know if I've covered, because I think we get a bad rap because everybody's like, these guys talk about dollar cost average, and when all the research from Vanguard and everybody else says lump sum is the way to do it. And it is true. Lump sum, and it's common sense, guys. I mean, this is basics. I mean, if you think about markets make money 8 out of 10 years, so 80% of the time, being an investor is a good thing. So if you know 80%, lump sum's great. Mm-hmm. But what if you're the 2 years that you get your big chunk of money, you sell some farmland, you sell a business, or some settlement comes your way? What if you're putting that money in right as things are getting their teeth kicked in? You'd probably be pretty sick if you put that money in at 12/31 of 2021 and now are experiencing this 12% drop. I mean, you're like, because you put $1 million in and now it's already lost $120,000 if you just bought into the S&P 500. You're probably going, wow, maybe I should have listened to the Money Guy show and dollar cost average this big chunk. Now there is a big caveat to the dollar cost averaging versus lump sum. If you are in a fully invested portfolio, or it's supposed to be fully invested because it's a retirement account, and that's when I'm thinking about rollover IRA or something like that, that money should have never not been invested because your IRA money is money that's not going to be needed for 10, 15, 20, 30 years in the future. That money should be invested. So let's put that to work pretty quickly. But if you are, like I said, it's really where the source of the funds are. If you sold a business, sold some land, had a windfall come your way, and it's a large, change your life pot of money, by all means, I want you to work that money in. Typically 10 months is what historically, because when you look at the data, you don't want to go much further than 10 to 12 months because then you really are running into this whole market risk of extending out the purchase too long. But that's something I would definitely get, that IRA rollover money. Now, look, it might be up, it might be down. We don't know what the future holds. But I do know when you need that money 10, 20, 30 years in the future, it's going to be more expensive than it is right now based upon historical context.
I think, man, literature is not my thing. Do you know a lot of Shakespeare? No. Is it, I'm going to look at the content team because they are all very well read. Is "To thine own self be true"? Is that Shakespeare? Was that Hamlet?
Are we really?
I think it was.
Mutants.
No, I think it was. Go with me. It may not have been Hamlet, but I think it was Shakespeare. When it comes to this decision, be true to yourself. We know that 80% of personal finance is behavioral. It's making good decisions. So while you can hear us say, oh yeah, dollar cost average, or do the lump sum if you came from the lump sum, or dollar cost average because this makes sense, or lump sum ends up better most of the time, whatever that is, if that's going to put you in a situation where you don't think you're going to be able to stay the course, by all means, do that thing that's going to allow you to stay the course. Yeah, you might miss out on some upside. You may miss out on the market going up. It may not be what the analytical data would suggest, but if it allows you to stay the course and let your army of dollar bills keep working for the long term, I just don't think you can go wrong with that.